If you don't have a good business strategy, then you'll have staffing issues, you might have marketing issues, you might have branding issues, you might have sales issues, you might have a whole bunch of things that are going on. But until you deal with the strategy issue, then those things are just going to keep compounding. So first of all, whether you're stressed with a scaling business or if you're just stressed in general, let's look at what stress actually is. So stress is almost a perception that there's a whole bunch of challenges without a whole bunch of support or an understanding around those stresses. So if we have a look at it, what normally tends to happen, especially with people in business, is either they don't have an abstract idea as what they're trying to achieve, so they're not really clear on their mission for achievement, or they're not really clear on their purpose, or they're not really clear on their company values. So that could be one of the reasons why they're extremely stressed out. The other thing could be is that they have a lot of stuff going on. So they might be thinking, especially if they're scaling their business, they might be thinking about their marketing, they might be thinking about their branding, they might be thinking about sales, they might be thinking about cash flow and finances, they might be thinking about taxation and legal, they might be thinking about staff issues, they might also have relationship problems at home, they might have issues with their kids at school, there might be a million things different that are going on. One of the biggest challenges that most people face, which causes them stress, is just prioritizing what's important. Now, if you can grab a pen and a piece of paper and write down everything that you perceive is stressing you out right now, then it gets it all out on paper, so it makes it a lot easier to understand. The other thing is that once you've got it out on paper, you need to prioritize. Where do I start? What's going to be the first thing that I tackle? Now, what I recommend is don't tackle the easiest thing. What a lot of people tend to do is when they have lots of challenges going on, they tend to look at which one's going to be the easiest problem to tackle first, because they want to try and tick as many things off of the to-do list. When you think like that though, the biggest challenge or the biggest thing that you might be facing right now, if you just deal with that, other things might take care of itself. So for instance, if you don't have a good business strategy, then you'll have staffing issues, you might have marketing issues, you might have branding issues, you might have sales issues, you might have a whole bunch of things that are going on. But until you deal with the strategy issue, then those things are just going to keep compounding. If you just deal with the strategy issue and you realize that that's the most important thing, and that big thing there might take a week, it might take 2 weeks, it might take 2 months, it might even take a year, depending on how big the scaling business is. But if you just deal with that one big issue first, a lot of other things will start to take care of themselves. So I think you really need to ask yourself, what is the biggest priority, or what's the number one priority task that I can do that solves the most amount of problems right now?